Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 34 of Three Dads and a Console. I am one of your hosts, Wobble Plays, joined as always as Court LeLong. Court, good to see you.
Great to see you, Gritty.
And we are also joined by Pez, aka Greg. Pez, what's the crack?
The crack is 90, gentlemen. How are we today?
We are.
We are. That's all we got.
And we have no one else. It's up to us. You're stuck with us.
I'm happy with that. You know, I like shooting the poop with you three. You two.
Oh, we got
Jesus.
baby.
I got nothing in my brain.
Shooting the poop.
Sorry, I do apologize to anybody listening. My daughter is home from school, and there is no daycare. There is nothing still here in Canada. There is just my daughter at home all day while I work. So my brain is a little poopy. I even had to take her to swim again, so I'm tired. Not irritable, but tired. I was trying to talk to Pez on the pre-show, and I couldn't put sentences together. So
He
this
could
is
not.
going to be interesting.
Yeah, you have dad brain. It happens to the best of us.
How long is she going to be home for?
Till September? Yeah.
It's a word silence. No one knows
And
what
the
to
silence takes over.
Well, we had to do that here. I mean, what is it? I had from February to May.
Yeah, but I've been doing that the whole time, Wubba.
Oh, so you've been doing it for a
year.
year.
We're still. I can't even go to the gym yet. I can't even go to the gym. I'm fully vaxxed. No gym.
Dude, you're built different now.
Yeah, I'm built like Jello.
So we have a bunch of good topics. Speaking of being built different, we want to talk first about a game that had recently come out. We want to thank the fine folks over at THQ Nordic. We want to talk about Biomutant. They sent us over a code, and Court was able to play that. So Court, we want to ask you about it. What were your impressions? What were some of the notes, the big takeaways from that game?
Well, if I told you that you could be a mutant, rodent type animal that had kung fu in an open world, you'd think it would be a Splinter origin story. You would be wrong. So I think maybe my expectations of this game, I thought we saw it, maybe 3 years ago. It's been a while. I know it's a very small team that was producing. I think it's only like 25 people made this game. Yeah, Experiment 101 is the developer, I believe. So from what I found of this game, there's a lot of great things. It's vast open world. You're an anamorphic creation. The character creation screen, you've got breed, primal, Rex, Flippa, Murgle. There's all these different breeds you can be. So race. And then you have your classes, your Deadeye, your Saboteur, your Mercenary, which is pre-order only, kind of poop. Sentinel, Commando, and Psy-Freak, which is like your magic. And then you have your resistance. You pick your element resistance, fire, different elements that are out in the game, and then you can move the character body around. A problem I had with this is throughout the game, it really didn't matter what you chose. Except for in your classes, because you can just upgrade your guy to have all these things anyways. So my thought is maybe, just maybe, they should have just chose a character, went with it, and did a story from there. And I understand probably why they didn't, because there is no voice actors in this game. So they're all like, hey, you guys ever seen that cartoon Pengu from way back in the day? And they're or like the old Lego games. That's literally how these characters talk in the games. They're just like, and
I had to look that up, but looking at this picture of Pengu just triggers a million memories. I can't believe you called that back.
Oh, it's actually, that's one of the great shows, Pez?
Your Pengu noise might have to be our swear filter moving forward.
All right, let's try it out. What the was that?
So they have a great base for the game. So you start off and you're like, wow, this is great. It's an open world RPG with Kung Fu. The set pieces are beautiful. you have these 6 clans that you're either trying to kill the tree of life or protecting the tree of life. So then you've also got this other convoluted part where you're either going to be good or bad. So as you can already tell, there's a lot to this game. And then when you get into the game, there's animals that you can ride, and then you finally get a glider, and you drive around. You get to walk around in a mech. There's a lot of things to this, and even in the fighting, you're doing kung fu, but every now and then, if you're the commando or you're the saboteur, you can get a gun. And to me, the gun didn't work for me, and it has like a little bit of comic-y through in the action. Like when you're shooting guys, it'll like say kapow, and it. There's a lot of great things to this game. A very small team. They did a very good job. The game felt like it was a PS4 game, which it was, but I'm talking PS4 a couple years ago. When you walk up to the walls and so on and so forth, it's not alive. You can tell, you can see the pixels, you can see what's going on. And that shouldn't be a knock to the game, but I think my biggest problem with it is I've already moved on to the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. So when I played this game, I was a little let down. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's so beautiful." And from what I heard, the game runs beautifully and looks amazing on the PC. It just didn't hold up on consoles. They didn't give the next gen version of the game. So it just didn't have all those bells and whistles. Um, and to me, the story didn't grab me. If I'm doing an open world RPG, this story needs to grab me. And I felt that the class systems and everything with the character creation end up throughout the game. You can get little upgrades for your weapons and so on and so forth, and you can build up stuff, and that's kind of cool. But the rest of it, I was like, meh. Like I hate saying that, but I just didn't think. I didn't care whether I was good or bad. It's not like when I was playing Fable back in the day on the Xbox. Like I'm literally playing Fable again actually right now, but it, I didn't care what my choices are made. I didn't care to save the tree of life. I didn't care to get these clans on my side. I just went around killing things. I felt like I was playing more a Just Cause game than anything else because I just wanted to do the action. The action was great. The story and the 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 mechanics of the game I just didn't care for. If the game to me was just kung fu fighting, almost like a Ghost of Tsushima, but like for fun with mutants, and you didn't have the guns in it, I think I would have enjoyed it more. But I was like, I don't need the guns. There's things I just didn't need that were in the game, and I feel bad. So to me, what I would suggest to people, if you're looking for something and you just want to go out and have fun and kill things in an open world, it's definitely the game to get. But if you're actually looking for an open world RPG with a story, it's a letdown.
When I was watching you play it over at twitch.tv/3dads and a console, I saw the beginning and it was the world seemed very interesting. Like your little gerbil rabbit. What animal are you?
I
Your little
honestly,
your mammal.
you're an anamorphic.
Your little raccoon boy.
Anthropomorphic. So you're like a bat, raccoon. You know what?
That word's way too long for me.
I just kept calling him Splinter in my head.
So,
I wanted to play Ninja Turtles.
but Splinter, I saw you like grabbed a weapon off the wall, and they were talking about like, oh, a tool from the long ago or something, and it was
Correct.
just a fire axe that you would see in like an office, and that's very interesting to me. It's very Fallout vibes, so I think that there's a really good foundation in terms of like the subtlety of like where you are. Because when I saw the trailer for this, I was like, well, where is this? And it turns out it's here on Earth, just a million years or whatever in the future. And it's just, I don't know, that kind of vibe is very interesting to me.
So the post-apocalyptic thing, and I honestly almost felt as someone. I'm a very story-driven player, and that's all I love about video games. I really love stories, and after playing The Last of Us and all these other post-apocalyptic games, I was like, you know what? You didn't need to have humans ever existing. It should have just been a world of mutants. You didn't even have to call them mutants. Just gerbils that could talk. That go just do that. Just leave out the human part and just give me the gerbil that does things, or the bat gerbil hamster. Just give me more of that, and maybe, just maybe, develop that. Give me one character to fall in love with and to care about throughout the game, and not have these different character paths. I understand they've been trying to do this in a lot of games to do this character creation, but sometimes as gamers, we just want one guy and a linear story and make me go around. And they could have done that with this game.
Well, it seems like it has suffered from, we have these great ideas, but we can't implement. We have so many good ideas that no idea is done extremely well. And it sounds like that's what it suffers from.
It's a very good way to put it. There's so many cool things about this game. Like, I was very excited when I was like, well, we got a code. I'm like, oh my God, I wanted to play this game. And then when I played it, even with the first stream, I was playing it for the first couple hours. I was like, I was loving this game. And then 10 hours into the game, I'm like, ooh.
But then again, you also don't. You're very impatient when it comes to getting into the story, as we saw with Persona. So,
yeah, you got me there.
I will never let you forget it. I did see that it's on sale. I think it was like it went down to like 40. So,
which is perfect.
I think that's a fair price point because open world, there's some I think that are definitely stronger than others. Obviously, like a Red Dead or something like that is like super strong, but it sounds like this might be like really good at a 40 price point if someone's just looking to get into something brand new.
100%. This is definitely turn your mind off kung fu fight with a machine gun.
Excellent. So yeah, big thank you again, THQ Nordic, by way of Evolve. Thank you, folks, for letting us check out Biomutant. Hopefully we'll be able to bring more things like that to you all in the future.
So, fellas, I wanted to talk to you guys about some recent news that I guess, was like shadow dropped on Twitter. Let's be real here. It was just like all of a sudden in the Discord, it's like, hey, did you guys see that YouTube video about the new Switch? I wanted to get your opinion on this new iteration of the Nintendo Switch. I'm going to go with Pez first because I think he needs this.
Oh man. I am so okay. When it comes to this like new Switch, I'm very conflicted over how I feel about it. First, I think we as a gaming community need to stop listening to rumors, right? Because what did all these rumors say? You're getting your OLED screen, right? You're getting your 4K dock. You're gonna get 1080p output handheld. You're gonna get blah blah blah. New NVIDIA Integra 50,000 chip, right? You're getting all this garbage. And then Nintendo comes out and they're like, "Hey, we're putting out a new Switch model. It is an OLED screen. It has a LAN port. It has a better base. That's it." And everyone's like, "Yo, that's not what you told me. That isn't that isn't what Jason Schreier told me. That's not what Forbes told me. That isn't what like I don't know, gaming for you is fun.com told me." Like, no, they told me it's 4K docks. They told me it's 1080p handheld. They told me it's whatever, this. So I think we as a community need to stop listening to that garbage, right? Because ultimately what it is it's hot clicks, right? One thing can be done well. One thing can be done well and true, but then when you're adding the garbage on top of it just to make sure that everyone's clicking through, then people are going to listen to it, and that builds the hype level. We've seen it before. We've seen it with games too, right? Like games like Biomutant. Biomutant is a game that was shown off 3 years ago, and the hype through release was like off the charts, and then people played it and they were like, "Yeah, it's fine, it's fine." And you got some people that are like, "Oh, I waited 5 years for this game. It sucks." Like, yeah, well, that's because you were here and you should have been here. Secondly, I think people being upset is like kind of overblown because this is. I'll tell you why I believe that. This is what gaming companies do when they put out new product, right? This isn't a Switch Pro, and I think people need to realize that this is not a Switch Pro. This is a Switch with a different screen. It is, for all intents and purposes, it is the second iteration of the Vita. right? It is not, and I think this is again where people get confused. It is not the PS4 to the PS4 Pro, or it is not the Xbox One to the Xbox One S. This is just a Switch with a different screen, with a better screen. Again, goes right in line with what the Vita has done in the past. And I think the reason people are all upset is because they bought into those rumors that like, hey, you're going to get your Switch Pro or your Switch 2, and then all of a sudden it didn't happen. So they're all like, well, this is stupid. I'm not going to buy this. This is dumb. I don't need this. It's not really, if you have a Switch that works, it's not really for you. And this is what I've gone back and forth with internally. I have a Switch I bought on launch day, works perfectly. I have in 5 years actually. No, 4 years. Right, math. Yeah, 4.5 years we'll say, right? Have only changed the sticks out once. I've only changed the sticks out once. I've probably put 1,000 hours into it. I probably put a good 1,000 hours into my Switch. It still works. And it works pretty damn well. Do I need an OLED Switch? Probably not. Am I going to get one? Probably not. And the reason for that is I don't think it's worth, I don't think what they're giving us, unless you have a Switch Lite and you want to make the jump, is worth the $50 increase price point. But my whole thing is like, people bought into the hype and now they're disappointed. But they're not looking at the jump. They're looking at the jump from like PS4 to PS4 Pro, right? Which was like 4K output. But even then, I mean, what is a pro model doing that makes it better than your base model? Well, maybe it's putting out resolution. Maybe it has increased storage, but like you could already increase the storage on a PlayStation. The PS4 Pro was all about that 4K res up, and it wasn't even native 4K, right? It resed up to 4K. So I think
I think it was checkerboard. They called it.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, that's what they were calling it though. Like when I bought the PS4 Pro, they were like, it's checkerboard 4K.
Yeah.
The Xbox Series One X or S. Sorry, I love my Xbox, but
So
the
many.
naming is terrible. That one was native 4K.
Yes.
Continue. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Like I didn't see the announcement. I was like, "Oh my god, I need to get one." And even in our private dad chat, I was like, "It's fine." I mean, the screen is going to look nice because OLED screens are amazing. The first Vita, if you take the first Vita and the second Vita and put them together, the first Vita looks incredible. Right? So the screen will be legit. The other changes aren't enough for me as a guy who has his LAN adapter on his Switch dock anyway, who has his 250 gig memory card in it, who plays handheld but never tabletop. I don't need what it's coming with. And I don't know. I'm not disappointed and upset and throwing Mario into a volcano like the rest of Twitter. And I'm also just not like, I'm not, being like, oh, praise Big Red. They're amazing. And I love them. And they did nothing wrong here. It's just like, yeah, they introduced a new screen. We have we have chip processor problems. So maybe they were planning to do 4K. Maybe they weren't. Who knows? It's Nintendo. They do whatever they want. Right. And there's nothing we can say about it. So I'm just, meh. I am whelmed. I'm neither over or underwhelmed. I am just whelmed. It's fine. I'm probably not going to get one. That's it.
Is there
Mr.
a price
Pez.
difference for these?
So this model will be $350, and the original Switch is $300.
Heck W.
So-
Okay.
So, but in Canada, it is. I believe Matt said it was $450 or $460. Well, he sent out exactly what it was. And for the fact that our dollar is only 80 cents, that has nothing to do with the exchange rate. That has everything to do with the gaming companies. That's why they still charge us like $90 for a video game out here, and they don't in the US. Even when the money was even closer, they still did that, and I still have never understood that why. Kind of bogus. But Waba, what are your thoughts on this new Switch?
So my wife has a Switch, so I'm familiar with the Switch. Uh, I I know about the Switch probably most because I had to buy her a new Joy-Con because of the Joy-Con drift. Because the way that they made their controller is like actual bungus. Like you're gonna tell me you're gonna charge 300, 800, what would 450 Canadian dollars for something that if I play it normally, it's just gonna like wonk out, and then you want to charge me like $30 to $60 for an extra one. Like that's the problem. Like we don't need an OLED screen. OLED's fine, but like the graphics and the resolution or whatever, dude, it's Mario, dude. Like people are still playing 8-bit games. Like you're telling me I need Mario 16-bit Mario Maker 2 and 5K? Like it's just so weird what they choose to focus on. And that's why I know they don't care about goodwill right now, because frankly they've built up enough, so whatever. But like that was the biggest thing I thought they would try to improve. And they didn't, and that's like surprising. Again, I'm not mad about, I guess I'm mad to the extent where I have to like actually like buy new Joy-Cons, but that was surprising. And the stuff they decided to enhance, it's just weird. Like you're gonna tell me I can plug my internet into the Nintendo? Oh, you mean for those intense Mario Party matches? Like cool effing wrench, dude. Like why is that such a priority?
Like the thing is, the Switch should have came with a LAN port to begin with. Like where it's 2021, at the time it was 2017. Like online gaming wasn't new, right? Like that should have happened. I shouldn't have had to have gone on Amazon and bought a USB LAN adapter to stick into my Switch dock, so when I'm playing Smash Brothers, my internet doesn't crash because the wireless on the Switch is garbage, right? It doesn't even.
Dude, my PS2 had one.
Yeah, you had to screw it
That was
in.
a million years ago.
The original Xbox had one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to the future Nintendo.
The prototype PlayStation Nintendo Freak Show they were going to make had a LAN port on it, on the back of it. The prototype, the one they were going to make. Now, from an outside perspective here, as someone that had the Switch before, I will give this to Nintendo. Their Pro controller is one of my favorite controllers still to this day. It is perfect for your hands. It's phenomenal.
The best controller I own.
Yeah, I had Joy-Con drift. I had 2 Pro controllers. I bought 2. Gave them to my cousin. Both of them I sold. I had Pez help me fix Joy-Con drift, so it is possible. I bought a kit off eBay. I mean, not eBay, Amazon for, I think it was like, Pez sent me the link. I think it was like $12. I'm not even kidding you. Gave me these little screwdrivers and little stuff. It gives you a whole like walkthrough on how to do it. Very easy to fix. My thing is, if you look at Nintendo, Pez is right. They're people are gonna buy it anyways. They even made it black and white. They were like, hey, you know how you like the black and white PS5? Well, here's a black and white Switch. Like, they know what they're doing. They know people are still gonna buy it. It doesn't matter about the 4K graphics because they're not gonna make games with 4K. It would take them too much time. But I truly do believe they had all intentions to make a Switch Pro. The chip shortage and everything that's going on made them say, you know what? We're not going to do it. Let's go with what we have. Let's go with what we can do. And let's go and make some more money. Nintendo, beyond anybody, says this over and over again. They are a toy company. They are not a video game company. They are a toy company. And toy companies, as we all grew up in the 80s, they kill off our babies. They killed off Optimus Prime. We all cried. It sucked. They killed off Optimus Prime just to give you Ultra Magnus and all these other toys to go buy. Nintendo is just killing off the screen to give you an OLED to hope you go buy another one. And just to get more. The thing sells anyways. They don't care. You're still going to buy it.
No, and I mean, this could have been, like you said, this could have been like, hey, we're gonna give them all the rumors, right? The OLED screen, the 4K res up, but we can't because we don't have chips to do it. All right, we'll throw out the OLED screen. We'll include everything in the Switch 2 or the Switch U, right? Or whatever the heck they're gonna call it in another 3 years, right?
If they call it the Switch U, dude,
they definitely won't. It'll be something else. The swap. Welcome to the Nintendo swap. that's probably when they could do that. So I think they were just like, hey, we have these screens, they're done. We're gonna put it out. It's not gonna be $400. It's gonna be $350. It's a $50 price jump from if you want same Switch that I bought in 2017. There is no resolution changes to it. There is no battery life changes to it. All the internal processors are the same, and I think that's because Nintendo couldn't do it. Like they couldn't get the stuff together to do it. And you have people complaining like, hey, how come I don't have a 1080p handheld screen? Well, the reason you don't have that, bozo, is because you're then only going to play The Legend of Zelda for 2 hours before it dies. And then you're going to complain about it, right? Like, how come my Switch is dying? Well, because you wanted your 1080p, handheld screen that is just like ripping through whatever. So I get why we're not getting an up-res screen. The Switch is the best handheld. The Switch is the best video game console, like handheld console screen we've ever had, right? And I'm not talking about. That is just get out of here with that.
You don't have phones?
Yeah, what do you people don't have phones? But yeah, I mean the Switch OLED to me is another iteration of the Switch. Like. But then again, I wasn't expecting a Switch Pro announcement because Nintendo really doesn't do like huge hardware iteration changes throughout this cycle, right? 3DS, new 3DS, the change wasn't big. It did 3DS XL. I mean, they made it bigger.
What about GBA and GBA SP? Or Game Boy Color. I think their handhelds, they like crush it. So like try to
but we're talking
consoles are weird.
Yeah, but if we're talking Game Boy to Game Boy Advance, like that was like 30 years ago.
People don't forget.
I know, but also, the 3DS to the 3DS XL to the 3DS to the new 3DS they weren't huge jumps.
Those names, my God.
Oh, they're horrible. Nintendo.
Hold on. You're burying the lead. The new Switch has a bigger screen. Come on.
Well,
it's like they pulled an Apple. They were like, we got rid of the notch.
Yeah.
How much more big do the screen have to be? I'm not looking for a 32-inch TV.
No, I actually
hold on my hand and blind my eyes.
Honestly,
listen, monitor boy. If you actually had you played games on a big screen, chef's kiss.
No, honestly, like the idea of the Switch screen losing the bezel around it to be thin, like making the bezel thinner, is like a great idea, and I love it because again, I play 95% in handheld. Like, if I can get a better, brighter screen, I'm all in. But I'm not paying. It doesn't give me what I need, and my Switch is fine. Like if my Switch died, yeah, I would go get one. Of course I would.
It's fine.
But for now,
it's fine.
I don't need it.
So that screen that's going to wrap around the bottom, that people are going to go and charge it into the dock and miss, and the port is going to hit the edge of the screen, and now it's cracked. Calling it now. People are going to be complaining about their screens getting cracked because they put in the console the wrong way.
They complain about everything.
OLED. Yeah.
They complained when you would put the Switch in, and then people would rip it out, and it would scratch the screen, and they would complain about it. You can't make people happy. It's just not going to happen.
What do you mean? They're a company. The customer's always right.
Right. So like all these people complaining about Nintendo, it's like, yeah, I don't care. Like to me, I wasn't like, oh my God, this is amazing. And oh my God, I can't believe they did this. Set the company on fire. They're going down. It's just like, yeah, this is what Nintendo does. This is what most companies do. Right. They're not going to blow you away. They're not like, let's talk PS4 Pro. The PS4 Pro, other than resing up to 4K, didn't do anything. It didn't make crazy iteration changes where you were like, oh, I'm going to, like, I need this.
No, it was just 4K and HDR. That's it.
Yeah. Which, I mean, if you're playing on a 65-inch Dolby Atmos TV, you're like, hell yeah, dude, let's go. Let's freaking do this. But for most people,
they didn't exist back then.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Most people at that point when they came out weren't buying 4K TVs, right? Because the technology was pretty new. It was pretty expensive. So it's just one of those things where people want to complain and they kind of forget the past and how things like that happen. And again, this isn't me like defending Nintendo. It's more me ranting against like gaming communities to be like, dude, stop buying into hype. Please.
We haven't had a good Pez rant in a while, so I think
Yeah.
this was
Hey.
cathartic for all of us.
For
good.
the listeners out there, we have put Nintendo on the docket for like 3 episodes in a row, and Pez has missed a couple, and he hasn't been able to talk Nintendo. So this one, we started off with Nintendo, people, because it needed to be said.
That's right.
Yeah, and they put you fools in your place, so get wrecked.
Yeah,
And
get wrecked, nerds.
We almost even put PC on the docket, but we'll save that for
Oh,
another.
man.
Yeah, let's not get that brave. Come on now.
Ooh, an all Pez show, baby. Let's go.
But talking about mobile gaming, we want to talk about xCloud that was just announced. So, Court, can you tell us a little bit about what xCloud is and why it's exciting?
So xCloud originally it's still in beta, but now it is available to anybody that has a Game Pass Ultimate. So originally, I believe it was in October, Pez, I think it was. There was a beta you could sign up for. I didn't sign up for it. I tried to sign up late and I couldn't get into it. The xCloud, the way it works is you're able to play Xbox games that are on Game Pass on your PC, on your tablet, on your mobile device. Anywhere you are, you can play it as long as you can go onto the internet and either go on their webpage, because there's a web app, or an app. So on an Android devices, there's an actual app. You just click it, you go in. On Apple devices, because Apple doesn't like playing nice in the sandbox. They're a lot like Sony. Well, it's true. Sony likes 25 grand just so you can have multiplayer with everybody else.
It's not
But
that much in this
I
economy.
mean, when they announced Borderlands 3 crossplay, guess who wasn't at the buffet?
yeah. So
That'd be Sony.
it also made me purchase a thing called the Backbone. So the Backbone makes my cell phone look like a Switch. You just lock in, you can slide into your phone into the sides, and then you can have these. There's a plastic bar going across top. You got your bumpers here, and then you even got your D-pad and everything. Nice little picture of me and my daughter. So what'll happen is you can go in, let's use some Face ID to open it up, and I can do remote play with this Backbone. But on xCloud, I can literally go into the app here, and I can go onto the games that are available. So like MLB The Show is there, 2K Basketball is there, all the Bethesda games are there. You could just go in there and seamlessly play these games via the cloud, like you could on Stadia. Our friend of the show, Aaron Cini, always talks about his Stadia. You can go in there and play those games. I know Pez has been playing it as well. I have found it better when I'm playing on my iPad as opposed to my phone. The games that I've been playing through xCloud on my phone have been more 360 games because this is Apple's problem, not Microsoft's problem. My phone gets hot when I'm playing like Forza. I tried out Forza. I tried out MLB The Show. I found MLB The Show when I'm playing on the phone. It's just too small for the graphic capabilities of that game. I couldn't see the ball. I couldn't see the pitch and so on and so forth. And I'm also old, so my eyes aren't as great. But when I'm playing on my PC, so my MacBook or my iPad, I can connect my Xbox controller and I could just play the games. The lag to me wasn't really an issue. I played Gears of War to check out for shooters. It wasn't exactly like I was playing on my TV, but it wasn't bad. Like, it was really good. And this xCloud, if it goes off like they want it to be, it's going to be in our TVs. It's going to be everywhere. You're going to be able to play any Xbox game anywhere you are. You're just going to need a controller and a TV that's connected to the internet, or a screen. I should just say a screen and a controller. You don't need a console with this. And my saves pick up. When I was playing Fable 2 on my phone last night while my wife was watching TV. I was playing Fable 2 with the Backbone here, and I was able to just go right into where I was. My save automatically was there. It was awesome. As a gamer, it was awesome. And it was no extra cost. If we're already paying our, 100, what's it work out to be, like $160 for the year, Pez? Well, that's Canadian. So $160 Canadian for the year for Game Pass Ultimate. And I can literally play my games anywhere. Anywhere. As long as I got a screen and a controller. Pez?
Yeah, it's so I've only tried it on PC and it is works incredibly well. It works incredibly well. I was like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna get my $1 upgrade because I already have Game Pass on PC. Right? So that's $10 a month. Right. So I was like, all right, we'll upgrade for a month for $1, test it out, see how it goes. So I popped on my PlayStation 4 controller, loaded up MLB The Show on my Xbox, my xbox.com/play. I picked my game and we were off, baby.
You played Xbox games on a PC with a PS4 controller.
No, I played a Sony developed game on an Xbox service on my PC with my DualShock 4 controller
That's
In your
awesome.
while wearing your Nintendo footy pajamas.
while wearing my big red PJs.
Hey, just one quick question here. Does the Nintendo Pro controller, does that hook up to a PC?
I don't.
You could have
Yes, it
you could
does.
have done the
There's no way in
you
hell.
could do the trifecta. You could do the trifecta. You could play a Sony first party game on an Xbox service on your PC with a Nintendo controller.
It totally
you could do
does.
that.
And on the Nintendo Pro controller, so the home button has a light around it. Most people don't know that because it doesn't for some reason light up with Nintendo stuff. But when you plug it into a PC, that lights up blue. So a little fun fact. But I have had no connection issues other than when I tried to show people on stream the other day how it works, and then it didn't want to connect for some reason. But I had no connection issues. I've had no lag issues. Was the show in? No, if you play with a DS4, it is still on like Xbox buttons, right? But I mean, you figure it out. But I've had no issues. I jumped into Dark Alliance. That game sucks. I jumped into. Dude, Dark Alliance is so bad.
It really is.
It's so bad. I jumped into the show. I jumped into Gears of War 3 because I was just like, what I like about it is so you don't get the same selection you get on PC Game Pass versus Game Pass console. So now I can go in and play those console games I want to play, right? If I want to go play Gears of War 2, I can do that. If I want to go in and play Fable Anniversary, I can do that, right? I don't have to buy it on Steam. For some reason, it's still not on PC Game Pass, but it's on Steam. Figure that one out. I can't. But yeah, you can just go in and do it, and then it's as simple as clicking X on your Chrome or Mozilla or whatever you play it on, and calling it a day. That's it.
So for me, for a PC player, you would never have to buy an Xbox console. You would just pay for Game Pass
Never.
Ultimate because any game that's on Game Pass that's only on PC, I mean, only on console, which there are some, you'd be able to play them on PC through xCloud.
Yep.
So, and there's more. It's just so good. Like I can't get over how consumer friendly it is. Like Pez just said it right there. It cost him $1. And now when Pez is like sitting at work and he's like, you know what? I can go on because there are some games that have touchscreen, just to give you a heads up. Some of the games have touchscreen. But like say Pez is on his lunch, he's sitting at work, he's like, oh, you know what? I could go through and collect a couple things in such and such game that I'm playing. Because there's a lot of games we play that are collectathons. He can go in and just instead of actually, killing people, go in and just collect a bunch of stuff. He's sitting on his lunch, he's mindlessly collecting stuff, and it saves. So your saves link up to everything that you're doing, trophies, or achievements, all of that. It all just connects. It's all seamless. It's phenomenal. And I'll even say this. I've tried with this Backbone that I had to get because of this. I just thought it was such a good idea. You can do remote play. So I tried remote play from the Xbox and I tried remote play from the PS5. You can do both because they both have a remote play app. The latency was better for remote play on the Xbox than it was on the PS5. There was a tiny bit of lag on the PS5. I tried Ghost of Tsushima because I love that game and I was like, I can just play it from sitting here. There was a wee bit of lag. But the one caveat I'll give to PlayStation, I don't have to turn my PlayStation on If I click on it'll turn as long as I'm in the house, I'm on the same way. It'll turn it on like it's a controller. Like, you know how with a PlayStation controller, you can turn on your PlayStation? You can do that with this backbone to turn on my PS5 to do remote play, but I can't do it with the Xbox. I have to physically turn the Xbox on so that I can do remote play with it. But this backbone, I know there's a Razer Kashi as well that you can get for Androids. The backbone is for iOS. There is no latency. The controllers, the sticks are pretty much the exact same as the Switch, and I understand they got to do the smaller, but it feels very comfortable. It feels, to be totally honest, it feels like I'm in a Switch handheld, but just smaller because the sides aren't as big, so it feels a little bit more comfortable. But I can see myself playing a lot of games while my wife's watching TV and she's like, "Oh, you got to stay with me?" Okay, fine. I can just play video games anywhere I am, anytime. When I go on vacation, I'm going to Florida with my family. All I have to do is bring an iPad and a controller, and I have my Xbox with me everywhere I go.
That's crazy. I know I was down on the service last time, but like that, just you saying that is that's wild to me.
Well, and lastly, like another thing I think people don't really think of is you don't have to download games. You don't need to download. Nothing is touching your storage, right? It is all you are going in through Microsoft's data, Microsoft servers, wherever they're located, and that's where you are coming in from. I've noticed there is a dip in quality, but like if you don't want, if you're not like, oh, I need to play the show in 4K 180,000 frames, like you can play it in normal frames, whatever it is, 60 frames I think it was, and 1080, maybe at times dipping down to 720 based on who's on your internet and whatnot. You're golden, baby. It works perfect. I had no issues. I had no lag issues. The only issue I had was I suck at hitting in the show. So like, and that's on me because that's me every year until it's like 2 months in and I'm finally used to it. So yeah, it was great. It was amazing. I loved it.
But I have one disappointment. I haven't tested out shooters, but I will say this: the EA Play version. So when you have Game Pass, you get EA Play. It doesn't come with the beta. So there is no EA Play. So I am wondering, because there are some PC services like EA Play is also on PC, and then they also have Ubisoft Plus. I'm wondering if Xbox is going to allow us, because there's all that rumors about Ubisoft Plus. Maybe this announcement that they're going to have in the next couple, they're letting Sony have their day tomorrow, and then they're going to be making another announcement, hopefully another all for one video. But maybe their announcement is, hey, when the beta is out of beta, Ubisoft Plus will be on xCloud, which makes way more sense, honestly, than console, because the PC players have had Ubisoft Plus forever. So maybe they do it that way, where they can give you Ubisoft that way. I'm not too sure. I would never recommend shooters. That's what I'll say to people with this. I'm not going to recommend a shooter game, but if you like playing video games, I don't know how you don't like this service.
I just realized theoretically, when NHL 22 comes out, I could have my PlayStation and also have the Xbox version.
Yeah, if it's
Is that a true statement?
If it's on Game Pass and you have Game Pass Ultimate, yes, you can. You will have it on Xbox.
What if I
Yeah.
bought the game on Xbox? Could I then utilize xCloud or whatever?
No, only thing you could do is you could do remote play in your house. So say your system's downstairs and you're watching TV with the wife, you could remote play while you're upstairs, but you can do that on your PS5. Unless, and this is unless, because I know it's in beta, they kept saying, Xbox has continued to say, more is coming, more is coming, more is coming. This is just beta. It could be that EA was like, we don't want to be part of the beta, but when it goes live, you can have our games. Because you already pay for that EA Play to be on your Game Pass, and they keep saying that everything in Game Pass is going to be in this service. They continue to say everything you get in Game Pass will be there. So I'll put it out there. I truly believe, yes, Waba, if you have NHL 22 on your PS5, but you're on vacation and you have Game Pass, you'll be able to play it.
I think that'd be
Because
cool.
it's going to go live, I think, in October, they said.
I'll keep an eye out, and I'm thinking this from I don't play a lot of Xbox, and if I do, apparently I can play on PC now. It's not a big deal. But let's say I want to take part in an Xbox tournament, I just buy it, and I don't have to buy a system for something I'm not really going to play. I just play on my PC. It's interesting the world we're
Correct.
living in.
Correct.
And then you'd have to get a Design Lab 3 Dads controller.
No, I'm gonna
which is
use
BMS.
my Wii U controller. Hook it up to my PC and then just play that way.
But to everybody listening, Waba now does officially have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, and he's gonna play it, and then he's gonna get hooked, and then he's gonna be like, "Well, I'm gonna have to keep it so I can play it on my PC."
I don't know what to. I guess the part that challenges. I'm so far into Mass Effect Legacy Edition. I don't know if there's not another game right now aside from hockey that I can even think about.
You say that,
You
my
just test
friend,
it out.
until I bring
Yeah,
you
he
out on the
does.
seas.
Honestly.
I taught by
Waba,
Captain
you can play Sea of
Redbeard and
Thieves with us
First
now.
Mate Court.
I just,
Waba, you could play Sea of Thieves. We could do a 3 Dad Sea of Thieves now.
you do know? No, I'm gonna like start a mutiny, right? Like I'm gonna not be a good pirate.
All right.
Like
All right. Court and I can
I
vote
got
you
your back,
into the
Pez.
brig. Oh, Court, let's vote him into the brig. Sink the ship. And then just let him
he gets a
drown.
trophy for that. He gets an
Do I get-
achievement
wait,
for
I get a
that. So
trophy?
he'd be
Do I?
happy. You get an achievement for going down with the ship, but you have to like play like an instrument while you're doing it. It's like a Titanic thing.
too soon.
No, it's not. Like,
Also
and
spoilers
that's
for the
other thing.
movie.
And Waba, you love trophies. Do you know that Xbox adds achievements into the game after the fact? Like they can add in ones that are like weekly achievements. Like they just like add achievements in.
I can't get behind achievements. Trophies.
They're the same thing without a platinum. That's all
No,
they are.
trophies are so ingrained that if you drew my blood, it would be type platinum.
Well, technically, PlayStation stole trophies from Xbox achievements and then called them trophies because that was the little symbol that popped up on the screen when an achievement.
Yeah, and Twitch stole different things, the channel points from Mixer as they wear their Mixer's head as a mask. It's it's how it goes. The way of the road.
Tell you.
Just like how Microsoft stole Sony's ability to connect with their customers effectively.
Hey, I like both consoles. I find pluses from both consoles, but for now, as a consumer, Pez has brought me to the dark side. I'm probably gonna play whatever games are on Game Pass. I will play my console exclusives on my PlayStation 5. And because I have Dolby Atmos on headphones and all the bells and whistles that I have on my TV that I like, if the better version of Far Cry 6, for example, which is going to be played on either console, if the better version of that game is on the Xbox, I'm playing it on the Xbox. I love my trophies. I love my platinums. But I'll just platinum first-party exclusives, and I'll play everything else on my Xbox. And I like the controller on the Xbox, even though the DualSense is phenomenal. I like the fact that I can have different color controllers and do them myself. It's fun. Like,
Fair.
You guys saw that ad campaign. The all-for-one video, as someone that grew up in the 90s, is like a chef's kiss. That is unbelievable marketing by Xbox. And all they're doing is talking about a service. And all Sony can do is like... You can play Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. Hey, we got Death Stranding Director's Cut. Do you want a PS4 game, but we're going to say it's a PS5 game and make you pay more money in it for it? Or do you want a game that was last gen on Xbox, but we got the newer version for it and we're just going to give it to you for free? That's pissing me off.
Yep.
That's grinding my gears. And I'm definitely going to be paying that $30 for the Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut because it's one of the greatest games in the last 10 years.
Got him.
But it got me for sure. I wanted to go on that island. Pez is like, do I not sell my PS4 now so I can go on that island?
I already sold my PS4. It's gone.
Just want to
Bleeding
borrow
into the
mine.
Shadow Realm.
Do you want to borrow mine?
No.
Okay, fine.
good.
Don't. Just see you in the dust, nerd.
Well, I will say Sony has purchased a studio that is known for making excellent PC ports. Just put it in the back of my mind.
There we go.
Yeah, they do need to make that a PC port. Let's be
they
real
will.
here.
And I'll buy it day one. And I'll complain that it doesn't work for like 3 months, and then they'll fix it like they did with Horizon Zero Dawn, and we'll be good again.
Look forward to it.
Yeah, like I am, and I'm extremely pumped for Horizon Zero Dawn and the Ghost of Tsushima director's cut. But Sony right now calling everything director's cuts is a bit underwhelming. They're about to have a state of play tomorrow, and their big showcase is an Xbox Studio game. It is hilarious.
Can we talk about that quickly?
Microsoft Studio. Sure.
I'm not thrilled. So this whole game, like the xCloud, whatever, I'm probably saying the wrong words. Like I'm like, oh, like this is cool, this is great. And then Sony's like, state of play. Literally, all I want is Game Pass, but in blue. I have no idea why they're not doing anything. And so it's like, oh, state of play. They didn't do E3. Maybe they're gonna go big. Half an hour, Deathloop, other indie titles.
Nothing. They're doing nothing.
What are you doing? Like they like literally are like, no, we're gonna hold. We're gonna hold our cards on a 16 and see what Xbox does. Meanwhile, Xbox out here getting blackjacks. Makes no sense.
Do you know why?
I believe Pez called it in episode 2. Sony is turning into Nintendo.
Do you know why you're not gonna get a? I'm gonna keep calling it PlayStation Forward. You're not getting a PlayStation Forward anytime soon because Sony doesn't have to. That's why. Because until we saw this Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 generation. The Sony came out. They they put their nuts on the table and they were like, "Here is the PlayStation 3. It is $600. It is the all entertainment machine. You can do anything you want with it." And Xbox was like, "Here's the Xbox 360. You can play video games with it." And everyone went, "Yes, yeah, we'll buy the Xbox 360," or at least most of the people I know. I can't speak for everyone, but
I think we all did, and we had red rings, and we still bought another one.
And it was like, yes, I'm gonna do that. Let's do that. Then PS3 kind of caught up towards the end, right? So then Microsoft in the PS4, Xbox One generation, Microsoft put their stuff on the table and was like, hey, your console needs to be online all the time. You need to have a Kinect that probably doesn't work. And you're gonna pay $500 for it. And Sony was like, hey, here's a PlayStation 4, it plays games. And people went, yes. And now Sony's like, here's a PlayStation 5. You can't find it. It plays games. And people are like, yeah, just like the other one did. Yeah, of course. And Microsoft's like, here is Game Pass. You don't even need a console to use it. And everyone's like, wow, right? Because it's so brand new. But Sony doesn't have to say, Sony wasn't in the position with the PlayStation 4 where they had to go out of the box. They don't have to go out of the box. Microsoft had to go out of the box because if they didn't take a chance on romance, nothing was going to happen. They were going to continue being distant second, maybe even third if you want to say Nintendo's part of this. I don't ever think Nintendo's part of this because it's like, if we're in the 5th console generation or 7th console generation, I don't even know. I don't care. Nintendo's
a niche.
Nintendo's like 4.5, right? Like if we're in the 5th console generation, Nintendo's in 4.5, and Nintendo's fine with being in 4.5 because they have nerds like me that'll buy Mario over and over because it's fun to play, right? But if Microsoft didn't come out swinging big, Microsoft was going to be left in the dust. So Sony doesn't need a Game Pass. We all want it, right? So we can play Infamous and Infamous 2 and not have to drag out the corpse of our PlayStation 3. But Sony doesn't have to do that, and they're not gonna.
Well, we can. They do have a service that we can do that on, and it is called PS Now. I was a subscriber to it, and I'll say that with was. I recently had this month to renew it, and I did not renew my subscription. I went back and looked at what I played of it, and I didn't play much. Now, here's the caveat. The PS3 games that I wanted to play, you can only play them streaming, and the Gaikai streaming is not good. It is not like xCloud. There is lots of lag. There is lots of latency. It is not good. The reaction times are just not there. Even a game like Infamous, when you're riding around on things and jumping off, it just doesn't work very well. you can download PS4 games, and they even I'm sure people are yelling at their cars while listening to this right now. They're yelling at the radios, but yeah, they gave us Red Dead. They gave us these games, but they gave us the PS4 versions. They have Avengers on there. It's the PS4 version. If you're on a PS5 and you have PlayStation Now and you're playing Avengers on PlayStation Now and you download it, you only get the PS4 version. There is a PS5 version that exists. You don't get it. So to me, that's another thing where if you want to compare the two services, if you ask them right now, do you have a service comparable to Game Pass? They'd say, yes, we have PlayStation Now. And you know what? It's not. PS Plus and PlayStation Now need to be combined, and they need to take games like God of War and all that. Because Sony, they're not going to give them day and date. That's never going to happen. And I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. If all they did was upgrade PlayStation Now and said, you know what, we're forgoing PS Plus. We're just going to have PlayStation Now. That's going to be our service. It's just going to be like Game Pass, but that's what it's going to be. And we're going to give you 8 months after release of any day and our first party games, it will be on this service. 8 months. You'd still have the Sony people happy. Not day and date, 8 months later, but also any game that has an upgraded version, you automatically get it. We're going to do the same thing because one of the biggest problems I have that I didn't realize was such a good feature is smart delivery on Xbox. That feature is unbelievable. The fact that any game that you played on previous console, whatever, you just automatically get the better version of the game. I have gone through so many loopholes and jumping through hoops to change the PS4 version to the PS5 on the PS5. So like Avengers, for example. When I originally bought it, there was no PS5 version. Bought it on sale. I played it on my PS5, but I played the PS4 version. So when the PS5 version came out, I had to first go into the PS4 version, save, and then move over my save so that the PS5 version could carry it, and then open the PS5 version, bring in the save, and then all my trophies pop. Then I have to go back into my console, then delete the PS4 version. Same with anytime you take any game like Watch Dogs, for example. If you want Watch Dogs Legion and you have the PS4 version, so the disc I had was PS4 and I had a PS5 because when I went to the store, that's the only one I could buy. If I put that disc in my console, it will automatically load up the PS4 version, and then I have to download the PS5 version, then delete the PS4 version. Otherwise, you have two versions on your console. If you have an Xbox, they've already said you could take a 360 game, an Xbox One game, you put it in the Series X, it would automatically download the latest version of that game, regardless what's on the disc. It would download if there's a HDR version, which a lot of the games like they take 360 games and make them HDR versions, or if there's a FPS version, which they've done with a lot of previous gen games, they've given them upraise them to 60 frames per second. Automatically that happens, but on a PlayStation, it doesn't. It is a nightmare, and sometimes it doesn't work. Like at Avengers, all my trophies didn't pop, and there was nothing I could do. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, I'm not really looking forward to it. Just because I don't think there's anything interesting that's gonna come out. I mean, the only indie game I care about is Hades, and what more can I learn aside from I know when it's coming out.
But you can now play it because I just gave you Game Pass.
I want trophies for it. But yeah, I mean that's happening. Isn't it happening at like 1:00?
I
Like
don't know. I've
it's
been playing it for months already, so I haven't been paying attention to when it released on console.
no, I mean the state of play isn't
Oh
that
yeah, 1:00.
so
is
one
weird. What a
o'clock
weird
Eastern time. Okay, are they trying
Well,
to hide
because
this?
no, it's because it's the game they're putting is Deathloop, so they don't care anymore. They're doing what they're contractually obligated to do, and they're doing a state of play for a Microsoft Studio game that, as someone that has an Xbox, there's not a chance in the world that they could say it's $10.
Oh,
I'm not buying it on my PS5 because I know a year later it's going to be on Game Pass.
okay,
Same
so
with Ghostwire
it's at 5
Tokyo.
p.m. 5 p.m. I don't know where 1 p.m. came out, but that makes sense. So that's going to wrap up episode 34 of Three Dads and a Console. Thank you for joining us. Please make sure to rate us on your podcast platform of choice and also leave us an excellent glowing review since you enjoyed this episode and other episodes so much. You can also find us on Twitch. We're trying to get to that 50 follower mark at 3 Dads and a Console, twitch.tv/3 Dads and a Console. And you can also find us on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel where you can see different antics, such as Corton Pez storming the high seas in his first adventure.
Arr!
As well as our unedited podcasts. So you can see all the nonsense that we, like, gestures that we make to each other, and my cat licking his butt in the middle of a hot take. You can find that. We don't have a vanity link, but you can go to, just search 3 Dads and a Console on YouTube, or you can find our link in our Twitter at 3 Dads Pod.
And when you do find us, subscribe so we do get a vanity link.
Exactly. All right. Thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you in the next episode. Take care, everyone.